just like it would do in real life if we're standing on a ball. For those of you who are interested in doing so, here's a simple test, and it doesn't require that you be a Freemason, a Luciferian, a Nazi, an occultist, or an atheist.
You're traveling through to another dimension, a dimension of not only paranoia and delusion, but of idiocy. A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that pure ignorance. Your next stop, the batshit crazy zone.
But for this math to be true, and it has to be in order to maintain a 25,000 mile circumference, no person could ever look straight ahead and expect to see the horizon at his eye level. But still, this is what we have to put up with.
The most important thing to understand is that the horizon is flat. That's right. From our vantage point, even from a high mountain or an airplane, the horizon is flat. Flat earthers, and also many globalists, for lack of a better term, seem to think that the horizon should look curved to us. That's flat wrong. And I think this is the single biggest reason there even is a flat earth community, the biggest source of confusion. You are expecting to see a curve where there is none to be seen. You are looking for the wrong thing. To picture what I mean, look at this orange. If I take a thin slice of it, I get a round disc. The edges of it, where the knife cut through, is a flat circle. That is what you see when you look at the horizon, the edges of a circle. The edges don't curve side to side, they run straight across our view. And since we are always in the center of the circle, they don't curve down.
My first question is, why is this dude wearing fingernail polish? But, I guess everybody's entitled to their thing.
Because he can, Rob. He just likes to sit around in his house wearing nail polish, cutting up oranges. That and making videos for ignorant, stupid people who believe that the earth is flat.
But my other observation was, after he said, if I take an orange and slice it off, sorry, you can't do that. If your orange is representing the earth, you've got to leave its spherical nature intact. You can't slice off the top of the sphere that you're using as your example and then say, that's why everything's flat.
Rob, listen to me. He did that to show us how if we were standing in the center of that cut right there and we looked off into the distance, we would see that the horizon, if you're, again, like the video that he just showed us a little while ago, if you look off in every single direction, it looks completely flat. But that is because the curvature, and here he's using an example, the curvature of the orange is equal in all directions. So that is why he cut that portion of the orange off. It's because of the size of the earth and our perception. As we look around, everything appears to be flat, but that is because, again, the curvature is equal in every single direction.
Because I just sliced off the curve. I don't know. Anyway, let's go back to Captain Fingernail Polish and...
Okay, Major Stupid. If you're going to call him Captain Fingernail Polish, I'm going to call you Major Stupid.
See what other piece of amazing logic he has for us.
When you can see the horizon in all directions, it is the same distance away in all directions. So when you spin around, it looks exactly like a straight line and comes back around to join itself.
That's exactly what I was saying earlier, Major Stupid.
Think about that. If it were curved down, it would not come back around and join itself at the same level.
Exactly. If it were curved, it would be dropping off 8 inches per mile squared from every point upon which you are standing. That is inescapable ball earth math. Wow. But, okay, to be fair, I do understand what Captain Fingernail Polish is saying here. This is a typical argument that I've heard lots of times, actually.
Listen, you moron. What the How can you be this stupid. Yeah, you've heard it, but you're not actually listening to it. You're not taking the information in. You're just allowing your ears to sense the vibration of the noises coming towards it, but you're not actually having it penetrate into your consciousness and actually process the information. That's the problem, Major Stupid.
Ball earthers will claim that just like the blue circle at the top of the beach ball here, that's the visible horizon. So from whatever point you're standing on, and you're looking out toward the horizon, in 360 degrees, that line is going to be the same.
Yes. Wow. Yes. Very good. You are correct.
It's always going to be right there. But as I'm showing you, that only works if you're looking down.
No. No, it works if you're looking out straight. If you are closer to the ground looking out, it's going to become more apparent. But if you want to use, like, let's say, 6 feet up as your example at eye level for a 6-foot person, it's still perceivable. You still see it. It just appears to be much farther away. Rob, you are such idiot.
I don't care how big the ball is. I don't care how big you are. I don't care how small you are compared to the ball. If you're standing on the ball, the point at which you are standing, from that point outward, is receding downward.
The size of the ball does factor in. And yes, the size, the height of the individual involved, if it's going to be 6 inches, 6 feet, or 6 miles, yes, there's a big difference.
At an exponential rate. Downward. Which means you can never look out to this mystical circle out in front of you at eye level. It cannot be. It can't happen. So this whole idea right here, while in principle it sounds good, looks good, but it's a myth.
How the can you possibly be this completely stupid? No, it's not a myth, Rob. It's been proven over and over and over. It's been proven by people who lived 3,000 years ago. You are the person who lives in the 21st century, who grew up with some, I'm assuming, some form of formal education. So you are the one who is going outside, looking around and saying, I don't see no curve, ain't no curve, Earth must be flat. You're that one who's not taking it one step further and actually performing some of the experiments that they were able to do 3,000 years ago.
It does not exist in the observable, testable, and repeatable example of reality. According to Pythagorean math, the 25,000-mile circumference ball Eratosthenes invented...
He didn't invent it, Rob. It's not like the Earth was flat and Eratosthenes invented the round Earth. No, he discovered it. How can you be this stupid? He postulated the question. He went out and he wanted to probably start out proving himself wrong, and then, discovered, he was actually correct. So, no, it's not that he caused it to happen. He just discovered it.
Does not allow for us to ever be able to see the supposed edge of a horizon that presents itself at eye level. Yet whether we're on the ground or flying up to 37,000 feet in an airplane or sending up a weather balloon to over 100,000 feet, there's that totally flat horizon straight ahead at our eye level. Always. That's simply not possible if it's receding downward and away from us at a rate of 8 inches per mile squared, which is what it must do. But once again, in reality, we don't see this.
You are such a moron. I can't believe rolls around between your ears and that little skull of yours. Rob, no matter how high you get up, as long as you're still within our atmosphere, which is relatively close to the Earth compared to the rest of the Earth, you're still going to see that point of horizon around you in equal distance. So from your vantage point, it's still going to look like a straight line as you turn your head your point of perception 360 degrees around you. It's going to look like a completely straight line because, again, the curvature is going off in an equal distance. The farther and farther you go, you get away from the ball and your vantage point changes. Essentially, the ball becomes smaller and smaller and smaller. The curvature becomes more pronounced and more pronounced, so that you get as far as the astronauts go, let's say, on their voyage to the moon, or up to the space station, then the ball becomes smaller and smaller and the curvature becomes more pronounced, and you begin to see that, yes, the Earth is round. It's a huge ball. As you go back and you enter the atmosphere again of the Earth, and you go back into it, the ball essentially grows in size, and again, you are no longer able to perceive the curvature of the Earth as it was so pronounced before. This is really simple stuff, Rob. I don't know why you just don't grasp it.
Therefore, this whole idea that's depicted here and that was depicted with the slicing of the orange, that whole idea is a myth. It doesn't exist in reality unless you're looking downward, which I don't know about you, but I don't go around in my everyday life looking at the ground. I stand straight up and I look straight out, and there's the horizon at my eye level. Not possible with Pythagorean math on Eratosthenes' ball.
That's... It's there, Rob. It is there. It's your perception. You keep relying upon your perception. You keep saying, it just can't be done. It can't. I see it this way. It looks flat. It's your perception. That's why most experiments have to be conducted, because what it is you have to stop relying upon your perception. You have to stop relying upon your senses.
I'm going to suggest an experiment for you. Now, you can do this with a quarter-mile distance. Get a laser pointer, and laser pointers can go very far distance, and set up a base point, which is at point A, and measure it up 6 feet, since you seem to like using 6 feet, and have it directly level to the ground, and point it to a receiver about a quarter of a mile away. Then measure where that laser pointer appears on the receiver. If you measure from the ground up, and of course you're going to have a flat surface, you're going to notice, at least if everything is flat, you're going to notice a half-inch difference. A half-inch difference lower than point A for point B. Now, this is just one of several experiments that you can do to prove to yourself once and for all that the Earth is flat. However, it's going to take a little bit of time, ingenuity, and the actual desire to prove to yourself whether the Earth is flat or not. If you continue to just go upon your own perception of what reality is or what you perceive it to be, you are probably fooling yourself, because again, you need to suspend your normal means of perception and rely upon experimentation. It's the only way to prove to yourself conclusively whether or not a particular theory is true or not. And at this point, it's no longer a theory, it's fact. We've seen that the Earth is round, but you don't believe it. So the person who needs to be convinced in this situation is you, Rob. Those of us watching this video, we already know that the Earth is round. You are the one who needs to change your own belief and suspend your own perception of what you believe the Earth to be. So anyhow, this is the end of part 2. Thank you so much, and I will see you in part 3.